night Darko was telling us he thought that you and Malachi were developing quite a good relationship on the court. How have you seen that grow, and what do you think about it?
Just being out there on that with our second unit, I guess we just play a lot of pick and roll, just trying to figure out what works for us. We be finding something throughout the game, and once we find something, we can get something going in the second group, get some ball movement going. But yeah, we're finding something with that pick and roll mostly every game, and it's working. So we're trying to find it, go to it, and just get a good offense going when we're out there.
You suggested that it was effective because either you can set or you can handle. Is that the benefit of having another ball handler out there with you, like Malachi?
For sure. Mal, can shoot the ball really well. He can make good decisions out of pick and roll. He's quick where he can even be able to reject to go to him and make those reads. I think he got a couple of those these last 2 or 3 games. Just those rejects, go to the rim, or just be able to throw it over the top, find me. So that's a great benefit to it.
Scottie, it's a couple games in a row now where you, OG, and Pascal have each scored 20 points. I mean, obviously you guys are each capable of it any given night, but what does it do for the offense when all three of you guys are clicking like that at the same time?
It's hard to guard when we're out there making shots, being aggressive, attacking, transition, getting downhill, going to the rim. This makes us dangerous as a unit, being able to get down to the paint and finishing at the rim.
Scottie, you said that you and OG was your favorite player to play with a while ago. I'm wondering, they've paired you guys in a lot of lineups together this season. What makes it so enjoyable to play with? What makes you guys so effective together?
He's great at defense, so being able to start on that defensive end and being able to just know that he can take those best players out and we can be able to try to string up stops and be able to run. He shoots the ball really well, and then he's able to get downhill. When we're out there in the second unit, he's out there in the second unit sometimes with me, being able to score the ball and then be able to get out there and run as well. I always see him as an easy target out there on the floor when they're trying to help, so it's easy to find him.
How important are these games against Atlanta on Friday and Charlotte on Monday before you sort of close out the month on the road?
Every game is important for us right now. I think we're sitting at, 10-14. Had some losses. We need to get our record back good. So every game is important for us.
Scottie, we've seen your three-point percentage really jump this year. You're much more willing to take the three as well. Can you take me through the process that you went through in the offseason of getting that as a main part of your game this year?
Just being able to feel my shot, making sure it feels good. That was just the main thing, and being able to shoot it. Just having that mindset every time I catch the ball and I'm open, just being ready to take that shot. So I think a lot of preparation comes into it as well.
Have you noticed other teams changing up their scouting reports against you, pressing up on you more, closing out harder, or anything like that?
Sometimes, some teams, like I said earlier, some teams are different. They're willing to give up that shot. Some teams are not willing to give up that shot. You make a couple, so they don't want you to shoot no more. So yeah, they adjusted to it, but I gotta adjust to it as well. Just being able to find those shots and where I'm able to take them, even if it's like a fake hard closeout, being able to shoot it. Just reading the game, how it goes.
Did you make any changes in terms of release mechanics or anything over the summer, or was it just a matter of reps?
Just reps and shot preparation. That was the main thing. Being prepared to shoot the ball every time I get it, shooting it without hesitation, without thinking about it. So I think that was just the main thing.
Is the shot preparation more on catch and shoots, or is it even on pull-ups where it's just more of a mentality thing you're talking about?
Just being aggressive to score the ball. Like I said, as soon as I catch the ball and I see some daylight, just being ready to shoot, taking those shots. Even on my pull-ups, it's just about me taking the shot. I think that's what it's more about, taking the shot and being able to, as soon as you see it, shooting it right away.
How many threes would you get up a day over the summer? Is that something you were tracking?
No, I wouldn't track it. It's just about feeling it. A lot of form shooting. Then extending my range, shooting a lot of middies, shooting some threes, backing up a little bit. Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Pascal made a comment post-game about you guys being a quiet group, just like inherently the people on this team are the loudest guys. When it comes to the defensive end, how do you feel like guys are communicating and finding their voice and communicating with one another?
Well, we got a lot of guys that want to win, so we're communicating out there, talking on defense. You just gotta be able to string stops together. not let other things affect us. That's just what it's about. I feel like we got some good communication when we're out there on the floor. I hear people, especially last game. Last game was really good. It's just about when we start off the game with our energy. We start the game off good with our energy, then it sets the pace throughout the game.
You touched on it a little bit right there, but what was working last night? You mentioned the energy, but what else was going right?
We was talking. We stuck to the game plan, and we made some shots. So making shots help, and then sticking to what our principles is, and on the defensive end, it helped us a lot. Once we trusted each other out there on the floor, we had something going, and we all stuck with that, and it felt good.
OG, it's a couple games in a row now where you, Pascal, and Scottie have each scored 20 points. I mean, obviously you guys have shown you're each capable of doing that on any given night. What does it do for the offense when all three of you are clicking like that together?
I think it helps everyone. We're all being aggressive, all looking for our shot, and all just trying to make plays for each other, along with the rest of the team. So I think it helps everything and just sets the tone.
How much is the chemistry? I mean, obviously you've spent a couple of years now with Scottie, but the amount in which you two have played together this year, including some of those lineups with the bench units, how much do you feel like your chemistry with him has grown over the last couple months?
Well, I think each and every game it grows. We talk stuff out. We see mismatches for either or. We tell each other to be aggressive and just try to make an impact.
You mentioned talking it out with Scottie. Last night, Pascal was saying that communication is a big thing that needs to be addressed on defense, more talking on the floor. What does that look like? Like, how do you have a conversation about talking more?
Just whenever you see something happen, maybe like someone messes up, pull them to the side, talk about it. Not confrontational, just talk about it and just try to be better moving forward.
What else was working for you guys last night?
Offensively or defensively? Which one?
Offensively. I mean, 2 games with 130 points or more.
Just the ball is moving. People are shooting with confidence. Everyone works on the shooting every day, and it's been showing the last couple games. So just hope that continues.
Do you think you guys, there was such an emphasis on the ball movement at the beginning of the season, have you guys sort of found a happy medium between that and also playing to the strengths of your best players? And what has that process been like for you, somebody who is, on the periphery of those actions sometimes?
Just try to be aggressive when the ball comes to me. I think everyone does the same thing.
But from a team perspective, does it seem like things are sort of meshing better? Or
Yeah,
is it just
I think
the result
so.
of shots falling?
I think both. Both are true. I think from the beginning it's gotten better each game. In film we talk about it. We don't want to overpass, and then we also want to get guys the ball in their spots and stuff and tell them to be aggressive. So just each game we're getting more and more comfortable figuring it out.
Where does that dunk rank for you last night?
In my life,
Yeah, sure. Take your whole life.
top 15 or something. Yeah, top 15.
We'll have to get you to rank them all one day.
Yeah, one day.
OG, back to the point of communication. When you think to your playing career, who are some of the best communicators that you've had as teammates?
Definitely Kyle. Kyle DeMar in his 1 year. I was with him. Serge communicated. Mark did. Fred. Who else? Kawhi communicated. Danny did. We had some good guys who communicated very well. Pascal.
What makes someone a good communicator on the floor?
Just being vocal, seeing what they're seeing. Like if someone else is not seeing what they're seeing, like telling them what they're seeing so everyone can see it.
You mentioned earlier about being aggressive and getting downhill. You've been doing it at a career rate this year. I wonder, just in general, what is it that you're seeing how the defenses are guarding you to kind of get you to get downhill more?
Just when I see space in the paint, just taking the space. Usually teams try to run me off the line, don't let me shoot, so just trying to punish them for that.
OG, I mean, you guys, you look at the talent, and a lot of you guys are playing very well individually. What hasn't reflected, and why isn't it kind of reflecting in the records?
What did you say it again?
In terms of why hasn't the talent and the way some of you guys have had played individually quite well, why hasn't it been reflected in the record so far?
I'm not sure why. I mean, we're trying our best. We don't want to lose games. I think it's just a process. Each game it's been getting better and better, and hopefully as the season goes on, we keep getting better and better, improving.
Like the outlook is still pretty positive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we know we're not getting blown out. Every game is close. We're right there. Just here and there, a couple things in the game we can clean up.
Why do you think the defense has struggled over the last 10, 15 games?
Probably communication. Some missed switches, missed coverages, and then also learning a new, it's all defensive, like a new play style defensively. Just trying to figure that all out. But hopefully, we watch a lot of film, talking it out. We continue to clean it up.
How would you explain that different defensive play style?
I'll tell you, in the past we're more switch heavy. We don't switch as much anymore. We still do at times, but it's just, yeah.
Like less lane jumping, less trying to gamble, like that kind of thing?
Not gambling or lane jump, just switching, people being on and off the ball. More so guys staying on the matchups now. So trying to hedge and recover and get back, different stuff like that.
So obviously you're hosting the Hawks again tomorrow night, and then you have Charlotte on Monday before closing out the month, more or less on the road. How important are these two games for setting the tone before you go away?
We talked about importance of homestand and playing against a team that's kind of in standings where we at. Those games are very important, and even more because it's playing 2 games in 3 days. And I had those kind of games in the playoff series against Quinn Snyder, and I know they're going to be prepared and ready and make adjustments, and it's gonna be a good one. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm really looking forward to it. Always when I play against Quinn Snyder, I'm learning a lot. I have so much respect for him as a coach, as a human being. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't share exactly what you talked about, but this time of year transactions are in the air, and what role does a coach have in that conversation?
What did I talk with who?
With management in terms of, obviously, without getting into specifics, what role does a head coach have in those conversations?
I mean, we are family. We're working together. We're talking about everything transparently and openly. At the end of the day, front office have their jobs to do, and I have absolute trust in Masai and Bobby to do their job. At the same time, I'm really focused on day-to-day to coach the team that I have and give everything I've got to the players that are over here. So really focusing on that.
Pretty easy after a 18 three-pointer night to say, well, they're figuring it out offensively, but you have your bad shooting nights, you have your good shooting nights. How much closer is this team to where you want them to be in terms of play style than compared to the beginning or 10th game of the season?
Right. I think we're much closer. I think we're doing a much better job of sharing the ball and playing together. And you're right. If we make a couple of less threes, the number of assists is less, the different feel. That's why a lot of times I'm trying to take out of equation shot making. Yeah. And just really focus. Even when I'm showing to the team all the times, I'll show sometimes a clip. Is this a good shot? Do we want our teammate to take a shot from that position? Yes, we gotta live with the outcome. Yeah. I always say that everything that goes into that shot is preparation of years and weeks and months and days and repetitions. But the moment that ball leaves your hand, it's out of control, and we gotta trust it to trust the quality of shots that we're getting. So I think that for majority of the year we're getting good quality shots. On some nights when we make it looks better. When we don't make it, it does not look that great. But we're much closer to what I envision as being offensively.
And with that approach of just sort of sticking with certain things, does that kind of explain the level of consistency you've had with certain groups out there on the floor all the time, or lineups that you kind of stick with? And have you seen enough now to then maybe start some experimenting?
I'm a big believer that chemistry is very important, and it takes time to develop chemistry. And I'm a big believer in player development and trusting players and giving them opportunities. it's so easy to make decisions based on 1, 2, 3 games or one bad performance and just like try to jack it up. Like, we're going to have different lineups out there. We're going to have rotations. We're going to pull guys sooner out of the game and try to put different guys out there, trying to find out what is the best recipe for us to have. But I'm going to have a lot of trust in my players and in their development, And it's a new system. It's new terminology. It's new coaching staff. It's a lot of new stuff for me to make it crazier for them and just like constantly change and experiment just for the sake of experimentation. When it comes to the point that like this has to be done, I don't have problems making those decisions, But I really want to explore every other opportunity I have to put it in a corner of players and help those guys to perform on a high level.
Obviously, Scottie's taken a big step forward this year as a jump shooter. He was just talking about the work that he put in on that shot over the summer. When you were spending time with him, watching him a little bit, especially towards the latter part of the summer after you got the job, could you kind of see that coming, that improvement coming?
Yes, absolutely. Every time and he would come and work out with us, there was intention behind his shooting. I would like to credit our assistant coach, Jama Mahlalela, who is, did I pronounce well his last name? Yeah, he's going to like that. Coach Jama is doing a really good job, just really focusing on basics. From day one, it was a clear plan for him, preparation for the shot, staying square up on his in his hips, staying in the shot, follow through, focusing on a straight line shooting, like very basic stuff. And he has a completely buy-in into that, so he's putting a lot of work into it daily, and every time when he gets in the gym, when he focuses on that, he's seeing good results in a game. So that's something that we cannot veer off. We got to continue working on that, developing and taking it to a next level. For next year, having more of the dribble or movement or not. But what he's doing right now is on a high level.
In the starting group, he's probably the biggest pull-up three threat, and like obviously the starting group doesn't have a ton of that, but how much do you need him, like even if it's not always the best shot, how much do you need a little bit of that pull-up three threat on the floor in each group?
Pull-up threat is good to have.
Yeah.
It's not something that needs to be forced. I think it comes with confidence. It comes with work. I think where Scottie is right now, and it's knocking down spot-up shots, and we're getting some, in the spacing shots. I think that's really good. And I don't want to rush anything. I want him to get a lot of those reps in the practice setup, and then to start unleashing that in the practice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think you got to work on a certain skill, and in the dark, for weeks and months before you show it in the light.
OG was mentioning earlier that teams are running him off the line more, so he's getting downhill, making plays more often. It's sort of a different role for him this season compared to last season, but in general, what have you seen in your short amount of time coaching him about his adaptability on offense?
I think he's definitely a big threat shooting from outside. This year we try to focus more on his above the break shooting and making those shots, and he's doing a good job with that. Last couple of years he was elite, and he still is elite in the corner. But also you cannot just be spot-up shooter and just call it your game. What's going to happen when teams start chasing you off the line? Then you need to have your drive game. Now, when you become really good finisher, you got to be a good decision maker and to find your teammates open. So everything is connected. And as you can see, game is developing at a crazy speed. Every night, we play the game, and I think we scored a lot of points. And I look out around the league like, well, some other teams scored 140. It's we didn't play great defense, but other teams they allowed 130 points. Game is changing so much, and everybody is trying to catch up with all these offensive tools and shooting threes and the style of the play and the pace of the play. So I think that OG is doing really good job of adjusting to that style.
Do you think objectively, not your team, but league-wide, that teams are playing at a high level of defense, and it really is the execution and the skill on offense that's driving scoring up?
It's skill and shooting for sure, but also I think it's rules of NBA. You know, it's hard to play defense. Like I challenge you, Michael, to go and watch '97 Chicago Bulls. You know, and yeah, you did. But like, you know, if you would watch it now, it would be like, this is not the same game. Looks like a different sport. Like there was so much physicality. Like now, you know, you put a hand on a hip of a player, it's a foul call right away. Like, you know, it's really hard. And when you have that type of like protection for offensive players and with shooting ability and the way Steph Curry changed the game with his you know, deep range shooting and all of that, becomes really, really hard, you know, to guard and have defense on a high level. This year at our coaches meeting, and Joe Dumars brought up that point, like how do we get back defense, you know, back in the game and allow more physicality, and we did not find out a lot of great answers there.
Take away three in the key.
Yeah, it's also like for fans, you know, think about like fans, do they want to see 17, 6 and 8 points, or they gonna celebrate 35 points, you know? And you know, I think the league is doing a good job of promoting the sport and driving our sport and our industry into the right way, but all of us, we're trying to learn and catch up with direction where it's going.
Pascal made a comment last night that you guys have, as a team, have a lot of quiet players, just that's their personality, and it's maybe led to some of the communication issues on defense. How would you assess how this team is communicating defensively?
I'm on the side yelling a lot. I'm trying to communicate for everybody to help them out. As you can see me, I'm very engaged on the sideline. Yes, it comes from a place of players being quiet, but I want to have such a clear game plan and execution and everything that there is no gray area for them, and just to make them more comfortable in calling it, like calling is that a switch or a pick and roll with a 5-man or whatever it might be. You know, there is no good defense without good communication. There is no good defense, you know, and every time when you look high-level players around the league, when they're making comments about their teams and defense, they're talking about communication as a central piece of good defense.
Who do you sort of look to as one of the main communicators on defense for this team?
It's a job for everybody. It's not one player, you know, because if I assign it to one player, then my player might be guarding in the court and not be part of the action. Whoever is in the action, is that pick and roll or a handoff or off-ball screens, those guys involved in action, they need to be communicating and helping each other.